We finally have some official updates on the review embargo. We have an additional update concerning the Xbox platforms, including a couple different surveys and as well as one of my own. We have some corrections with yesterday's video and some other mechanics that's going to help you with your playthrough. We got a lot to talk about. What's up, World Tribute? Back in the video, we're checking out all things Baldur's Gate 3. Okay, so first up, let's just jump into the review embargo stuff as well as those Xbox updates. Now, we did have a few content creators like Wolfhard FPS as well as Mortismal Gaming, who both essentially alluded to both not making videos tomorrow as well as not being able to talk about stuff until August 3rd. And we also do have confirmations through Steam builds getting updated. So yeah, review keys and review codes have definitely already gone out. Now there is one more article here that I just wasn't able to locate, but it apparently is on the biggest Polish gaming news portal. And they talk about the review embargo being until their active release date. So yeah, August 3rd being the time that review embargo is going to get lifted. If I do find a link to that official article, then I will post it in a pinned comment down below. We do have a few mechanics to go over. One was in discussion, one's already pretty well known overall. I have gone over this several times, but I keep seeing posts over and over again, and I do kind of want to have an infographic and explain how it actually works. So people keep asking about the karmic system. Obviously the game revolves around number rolling, and essentially RNG with the D20, and this boils down to everything including hits, misses, that and the like. Every time that happens, a D20 gets involved, and essentially if you have multiple failures in a row with these checks, or the D20 rolling lower, possibly 3 times in a row, once this happens, the game will artificially raise the roll. Now this will happen for both you and your enemies, meaning that if there's multiple misses or hits in a row, the likelihood of those misses happening again will continuously degrade. Now there is much more involved with it. If you really want to see into it, I'll try to have some links down below for some information, but that's just kind of the small terms of it. They are actually going to go through it more in a community update, and so when they do post this community update, I will actually go through and kind of re-explain it if something's changed or if it's slightly different. Now there is another mechanic that they did talk about, or it's been brought up several times recently especially, which is that if you don't long rest, you can occasionally miss cutscenes. And so they're trying to address this for release. They said that there was going to be something there, but it was never really disclosed, or at least we didn't hear exactly how it was going to be. But this kind of proves it here, where we have a dev tweet out that they've been playing this game on their Steam Deck. And in the cutscene here, Gale actually explains that they want to take a little break. So through RP, the game is basically telling you to take a long rest. Kind of cool mechanic there. I do hope that saves people from missing some cutscenes. I know when I was playing through Early Access, I actually didn't long rest for a while. Now that I know that you can actually miss cutscenes even with this check in there, I'm definitely going to long rest way more often. I just didn't realize how much supplies I was going to have while playing. But yeah, now I kind of understand it fundamentally, and that's why I really wanted to play Early Access as much as I did. We also have the director of publishing chiming in about the Xbox Series S, and those updates there with that. And this is at Cromwelp on Twitter, who said, "We have quite a few engineers working very hard to do what no other ARPG of this scale has achieved. Seamless drop-in, drop-out co-op on Series S. We hope to have an update by the end of the year." So with both the CEO, Swen, and now the director of publishing saying they're trying to get it out by the end of the year, I would assume it's most likely to happen within this year now. Although you never know, games get delayed all the time. But this kind of gives us a little bit more confirmation to it. Now he also did mention that split-screen co-op is disabled on the Steam Deck. And yeah, the Steam Deck just obviously can't handle the co-op, or at least split-screen co-op, which kind of explains itself. I mean, it is a Steam Deck. You're not really going to want to play co-op on that. Now I know I've had a ton of questions in my comments about the preload. I've even myself tried to delve in on what is going to happen if there is going to be a preload. They're saying there isn't going to be a preload. Where is the official source on that? And Cromwelp again responded here with a question about preloading, and he said here, "Questions such as this will be covered in detail in a future community update prior to launch, with some other cool things. We're going to be trying to cover the remaining community questions. Do be sure to watch out for that." And so we have no updates on that new community update. However, if there is, I will put a pinned comment down below with the link, and I'll probably also make a video on it. Hopefully we get that out in the next day or so, because I really do hope we get some sort of preloading. Even if it's like just the night before, I would like to have those hours to download. If not, it is what it is. I'll probably be behind by a little bit, but I'll figure it out. Now we do have those surveys to talk about with the corresponding origins. As of right now, it still looks like Dro is taking the lead, with Githyanki being the bottom percentage. I've also noticed that Human is pretty high up there. I'm also surprised Gnome is pretty low, but now that they've apparently gotten rid of the benefits for picking these, I assume that people are just going to go with what they want. I'm still going to go with the Gnome, because that's what I play in most games anyways. at least if it's offered. I also ran a poll for the difficulty choice, so I put here, which Baldur's Gate 3 difficulty are you choosing? The poll's still up, so you can go vote now if you want, and I'll have a link down to that below. Right now, Balanced or Medium is in the lead with 70%, Explorer has 10%, and Tactician mode, which is the hard mode, has 20%. We got about 306 votes here, but I'm sure this will get a lot more. as this is one of my faster growing polls, so it's definitely doing pretty well. But yeah, if you want to go vote on that and we get some more data on this, check it out down below. I do want to talk about some of the corrections from some of my past videos or the ones from yesterday. Now first up, I did get the global launch time wrong, as it is 8 a.m. Pacific time. There was a bunch of stuff going on there, and I was reading from 2 different sources, and the time has actually been switched, or at least one person said one thing and it kind of got spread around. Yeah, I'll put that infograph up again. The global launch time is 8 a.m. Pacific time. Now I also made a mistake about one of the mechanics. I thought that the printing press being brought up was one of the first times that it had been mentioned, at least on that podcast. However, apparently this was in the panel as well. Now I did watch some of this panel, but however I probably missed that part. This is a 4-hour long panel in a 7-hour long video. Now granted, the panel itself is only about 4 hours long. I will try to be sure to watch this in its entirety to make sure that I grasp it fully. I did watch the entire interview on the FPS Podcast, so it is my mistake there. I've been covering a lot of stuff with Diablo. I put 40 hours into the Baldur's Gate 3 early access. I also wanted to watch the PoE stuff, and I was watching all of that stuff on that stream. And yeah, sometimes I'm going to make those mistakes, especially when I'm new to this format. I will try to be sure to make sure I correct that, or at least put it in a pinned comment down below with the corrections. I also don't mind the feedback, so if you want to give me feedback on anything you see on this channel, feel free to do so. However, there's been some feedback recently about how I don't play the game. I understand I'm catching up on the tail end of things coming off of Diablo 4 and some other games. However, I have been interested in Baldur's Gate 3. I've just had to play some catch up with certain information. I have put about 40 hours into this game in the past week and a half, and if I'm going to cover a game, I am sure to play it. This goes all the way back to World of Warcraft or New World, which I have 1,400 hours in, or Lost Ark, which I had 800 hours in. If I'm going to cover a game, I'm going to play it in its entirety. And even though that I've put 40 hours or so into this early access so far, and all the deep dive in information that I've had, we even have a post here that's from someone that says I've played 125 hours in early access and still find new things constantly. And yeah, I'm definitely going to find out new things. I'm going to be researching as much as I can. There's a lot of information that I've been deep diving in on Dungeons and Dragons in the 5th edition, etc. It is a lot to take in, but I'm sure I'll get it down eventually. I do appreciate those who have stuck around and continue to give me the motivation to do this. So thank you to those for the kind words, and I do appreciate it sincerely. Also, be sure to check out that community wiki. It's got a ton of information if you ever want to deep dive into any of the stuff that I cover. There's also some stuff there on the BG3 changes to D&D 5th edition, so you can be completely updated with that stuff there. That should about cover for today's video. I'll be sure to run a few more polls in the next coming days, as well to be sure to check out that wizard guide and build video that I'm going to do on August 2nd. But if you enjoyed today's video, I like and subscribe, and until the next one, deuces.